All right, an update in the UFC terror plot. We're now learning that the accused ringleader of this foiled attack is an illegal alien from Mexico who was granted dreamer status under Obama. FBI agents arrested him on Sunday in Nebraska. According to court documents, he operated under the name Shepherd online and allegedly used chat apps to direct planning with the explicit intention of being, quote, as deadly as we can get. He faces federal charges of conspiracy to commit murder and conspiracy to commit violence on White House grounds. He's expected to appear in court next week. But joining us now is former acting DHS Secretary and America First Policy Institute Homeland Security and Immigration Chair Chad Wolf. Chad, great to see you tonight. I hate this story because I look at the guys involved in this, and number one, I see all the fingerprints of illegal immigration, the border falling apart and what that means. And number two, I see the radicalization online of young men whose minds have been warped in I don't know how many ways. What do you make of the fact that the ringleader is one of these so-called dreamers under the Obama administration?
Yeah, well, it's good to be with you. I think this case, unfortunately, has a little bit of everything, as you indicated. Probably some radicalization online, but also an individual that should never have been in the United States. This is someone who came over as a child in 2001 on a B-2 visitor's visa. He overstayed that. And in 2014, so just think about that, almost 12 to 13 years later, he is given DACA status by the Obama administration as a way to shield him from deportation. And of course, you know, throughout the years, let me just say that the DACA program is completely made up. It's not anywhere in law. President Obama made it up. He admitted to this. And as we go forward, we're told by the left that, you know, DACA recipients they're all Rhodes Scholars. They all become doctors, when in fact they don't, right? And this is a perfect case. There are bad people here to do bad things to Americans that are abusing our immigration system and taking it for granted, and this is just the latest example of it.
What do we do about that status, Chad? I mean, the whole DACA dreamer thing, a huge conversation for a while, then it kind of fell below the radar. I mean, you're right. I mean, those folks are sitting out there. We've got, I don't know, naturalized U.S. citizens in the country who perhaps hate America as much as anyone overseas who hates America. Yeah. What do we do about all that? Because right now the conversation is, well, maybe a legal bad and legal good. Heck, we don't even know what legal is with the whole dreamer thing.
Yeah, well, for all of these folks that are here legally, making sure that you have recurrent vetting, that you understand who they are to determine whether or not they have become radicalized as they come into the country and they stay here. But as we talk about the DACA population, this is really important. There's only about 600,000 DACA recipients, but if you hear or you listen to folks like Senator Durbin and others, they talk about 3 million DACA applicants or 3 million DACA folks that are in that program. That's simply not true. That's a number that they have made up whole cloth. And so every year, more and more of those DACA recipients fall out of status because they have to abide by the requirements of DACA. And if you get into trouble, if you commit a crime, there's a number of things that make you fall out of status, and more are doing that. This is a case of it, obviously very, very high profile case of it. So you have more and more of that every year. So as the conversation continues about do we normalize DACA recipients, and dreamers is a word I hear a lot.
Right.
You hear a lot from the left that tries to confuse things and talks about millions of folks, when in fact DACA is about 600,000 folks, and it's fewer and fewer every single year.
So we got the conversation happening on the basis of the wrong data, and we got the government conveniently losing track of people who turn up in spots like a UFC plot. Chad Wolf, we got to leave it there. Great to see you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah. All right, thanks.
All right.